Hello everyone, I want to start this video out first by just letting everybody know that I'm in total shock and amazement, with this whole rescue situation of this U.S. Airways jet up in New York. This pilot was amazing, how he landed this plane on the water. I mean, it was a true miracle that, the water was calm. He landed it right by the New York waterway, ferries. Everything worked out in just an awesome way to make sure all these people can get off that plane alive, and there was some bumps and bruises, but by far everybody's okay. And just the way the rescue people jumped into action. Within 3-4 minutes there was everybody out there rescuing people and getting in the water and doing whatever they had to do. And it just shows the greatness of New York City. And of course it reminded me of September 11th when I was in the car yesterday. I was in the car coming home from work, and I heard on the radio the breaking news thing about this plane went down the Hudson River, U.S. Airways. The first thing I'm thinking of is 9/11, and glad to hear that it wasn't that, but was even more happy to hear how everybody jumped into action and was rescuing everybody, and everything worked just seamlessly on that rescue. And I think it just shows how quickly we have learned from September 11th, and for some people it's still stuck in our minds, and I won't forget that day either. And on that note, I was watching President Bush's farewell address, and it's interesting, now all the polls are coming out, and of course his approval rating, job approval rating is it's gone up to 32%. And actually 6 weeks ago it was 20%, in the last 6 weeks it's gone up to 32%, and he's been out there giving interviews and talking to everybody, giving his farewell interviews, and now his ratings are going up. And what's interesting is the latest survey that they did, the latest poll they took, showed that over 62% of Americans believe he's a good person. They may not agree with his policies, but they believe he has a good heart, and he's honest, and he has basically done what he thought was best for the country. And I agree with that. I think he's a good, honest man. I wouldn't mind kicking back and having a beer with him. Of course, he quit drinking, but I'd kick back and have something to drink with him. Of course, I would do that with Barack Obama too. Only once. So, but I'm watching the farewell address, and what was interesting is the fact that the thing that stuck out the most is something that no one can take away from George W. Bush and this administration, and that is that we have not been hit again in 7 years. Bottom line. Now, if you look at the 90s, we had 93, we had 96, 98, 2000, with the USS Cole. Then there was the bombings in Tanzania, and then there was, so throughout the first World Trade Center bombing, 93. So even throughout the Clinton administration, while Al-Qaeda was blooming and getting stronger and nothing was getting done about them, they hit us more often. Right now, this is the longest stretch we've gone without an Al-Qaeda attack on our country, okay, or on our, on our interest anywhere around the world. Now, this partially is because, of course, we're fighting them over in Iraq, which is kind of part of the whole philosophy. By drawing them to Iraq, by drawing Al-Qaeda fighters to one location, our military, which is the best in the world, can defeat them. But they have not been able to get an attack off on our country. The other issue is that this latest bin Laden tape, after it was translated, he's basically asking for money. He's saying Al-Qaeda is strapped for money, and he wants Arab nations to step up and help. They're running out of money. They're not funded as well as they are. They're disorganized. Leaders are getting capped off everywhere. Al-Qaeda is in trouble, and this administration and this military has severely disrupted Al-Qaeda, which has resulted in us being safer, and that will be on George W. Bush. There's no doubt about that. You can say whatever you want about the guy, but the reality is he has kept us safe, and there has not been another terrorist attack in this country since 9/11. So, now, with that, I'm sitting here, and I've got this growing list, right here, growing list of people that are involved in criminal probes or suspicion of criminal probes that are directed and tied to Barack Obama and this administration, or their Democrats. And I hate to go back to this, but remember I did a video a while back called the Democratic Criminal Convention because of all the people that were there, and it's like now look, we got the Hillary Clinton pay for play situation with money that was donated to Bill Clinton's foundation, and then she in return got hundreds of thousands of dollars in money for some other organization. There's an investigation going on with that. You got the whole, listen, Carolyn Kennedy. I love this. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like, and And well, I think it's important, that sorry, I was being Carolyn Kennedy. That's all she said the whole stinking interview was, She has no clue. She's not qualified to be senator. She's a Kennedy. Who cares? It's a name. She's not qualified to be senator. But I didn't hear the media jumping all over her. That interview was terrible. And everyone wanted to get on Sarah Palin about how she did with Katie Couric, because she didn't answer one specific question the right way, the way that they wanted. So they jumped on her for weeks because she's a Christian and she's a Republican. Carolyn Kennedy didn't have a clue what she was talking about. Kept saying, all the time, because she couldn't think of what to say. That's an indication. When somebody doesn't know what to say, they either go, or they repeat the same thing over and over again, or they just go, because they have no clue. Carolyn Kennedy has no clue. Now, there's no criminal stuff connected to her as far as I know, but I just wanted to throw that in there. And then you got Blogger Javikic over there. Of course, we know what's going on with that situation. He's being hammered into the ground. He's a total, crazy. He's he has no clue that anything's going on. Thinks he's totally innocent or something. Hello. And then you got Governor Bill Richardson. Of course, he was nominated by Barack Obama, and then he pulled himself out of the situation, out of the running, because he's got a federal investigation into him. Okay. Now, what's with the Bill Richardson beard? Did you notice while the presidential campaign was going on, he had that beard, little goatee thing, like he was trying to connect with the Hispanics? You know what I mean? Like he had this whole look going, And then after the election, yeah, it's gone. Yeah, his naked face like mine, naked face, just gone, But Bill Richardson, federal investigation going on right now with him, Then you got Al Franken, for crying out loud. Don't even tell me that election wasn't stolen up there in Minnesota. The election was already done. Coleman had 270 votes ahead, and then recounts start, and as recounts are starting, gee, imagine that. Coleman votes are getting lost. Franken votes are being found everywhere, and he ends up winning by 270? You've got to be joking me here, Now the lawyers are contesting this thing. It's going to go to court. It's going to be a mess, But something definitely funky going on up there, Charlie Rangel, another Democrat in the Senate, He's being investigated because he forgot he had certain properties. Whoop, didn't pay any taxes. Whoops. Yeah, I kind of forgot I had that other property down here. Oh yeah, my bad, So he's going to be investigated for that. Charlie Rangel, the Democrat, Timothy Geithner, this guy that Barack Obama had appointed. Stuff's coming up about him now, with the whole tax evasion situation. Now this isn't just I forgot to pay the babysitter, I forgot to pay the taxes on the babysitter, on the nanny or whatever. Come on. Are you kidding me? This guy owed money to the IMF. Okay, he owed taxes on money that he got from the IMF. Okay, the International Monetary Fund. He got notices about it. He agreed. He signed forms saying he'd pay it back, and then he just didn't. This guy deliberately was not paying money back, and Barack Obama wants to put him in charge of the Treasury? I mean, come on, you've got to be kidding me. Now, Eric Holder, another thing. Okay, people don't know much about Eric Holder. And this guy was with Bill Clinton, and he, was responsible for pardons for Mark Rich. Okay, Mark Rich was involved in some really heavy criminal activity, and he was charged. And then, Eric Holder pardons him, right? And then the whole, what's that other terrorist group that what do they call it? FLAN or FAN or FARC or one of these other, terrorist organizations that were planting bombs and stuff everywhere. Eric Holder, he pardoned them too. Yeah, that's okay. That's no big deal what they're doing. There's just a lot of stuff, a lot of suspicion around all these Barack Obama guys. And I'll tell you what, if you can bathe in the criminal corruption of Chicago, the Chicago criminal corruption, bathe in it for 20-something odd years, and come up out of that like you just took a hot, clean shower, then you ain't of this world. Okay, Barack Obama's got some stuff on him. We just don't know where it's at. The other thing, Barack Obama, he got all the right wing excited by, picking the Reverend Rick Warren to do the inauguration speech. He's a Christian evangelical pastor, so all the Christian right got all excited and said, oh, maybe Barack Obama's actually a centrist, and they got all excited. Well, that's been turned around now, and he's got the first openly gay Episcopal Christian bishop from Massachusetts, this Gene somebody, whatever his name. He's going to be praying at the Lincoln Memorial now on Inauguration Day. So that kind of made the the homosexual is happy. Got to balance that out. This don't ask, don't tell policy. Barack Obama said, yep, first thing I'm going to do, it's gone. People can serve openly gay in the military. Okay, you know what? Fine. You know what? You want to be gay, that's between you, God, and yourself. That's your own thing. You know what I'm saying? But could this open homosexuals up to ridiculing in the military? Yeah. I think it kind of should just be kept quiet, to each his own. You don't have to go share that with everybody. But Barack Obama is going to open that up now in the military. He's going to close Guantanamo Bay. He's his first executive order. Boom, close Guantanamo Bay. Great. What are you going to do with the prisoners? Well, probably bring them to America. Hopefully they'll get some kind of court hearing where they just, will at least get tried and prosecuted instead of just out on the streets by some human rights group. It's going to let them go. So anyway, that's the update for this week. I look forward to your comments. May God continue to bless us, bless Israel as they kick Hamas's butt, and God bless America. Thanks for listening.